all bullshit fucking joke.
Please be seated, sir.
An outburst of anger at the Mass Casualty Commission. It comes after years of victims' families' complaints that their concerns aren't being heard. And while the liaison officer assigned to communicate with them testified, the anger erupted.
You're under oath there, Wayne.
Assigned to update 21 families on the process of the investigation, Constable Wayne Bent testified he felt he could do the job alone.
I built very good relationships with these people, with all these families.
But some of those relationships clearly fraught, like Nick Beaton, who lost his pregnant wife, Kristen. Bent testified that he couldn't return Kristen's phone to her husband until it was searched for any evidence she might have known the shooter. Nick Beaton shouted that Bent insinuated she'd had a romantic relationship with the killer before he stormed out. Bent said that was not what he meant. Other families say they lost trust in the investigation and the force over sometimes slow and confusing information. Tom Bagley's daughter Charlene asked Bent why her dad's body was found outside without shoes. The answer made no sense to her.
We were told that for my father's boots, which was a main question I had, that sometimes when people get shot, that their boots fly off. That was one of his responses to me.
How does that make you feel?
Like he thought I was an idiot.
The incident left her confused and upset.
We can all say that his story was not accurate. And to be shot down by the commissioners, not okay. I'm extremely upset by that.
The families are also upset there were 2 liaison officers assigned to the family of Constable Heidi Stevenson, who was killed in the line of duty.
They don't deserve any more than anybody else.
Bent says there is no RCMP guidance for how family liaison officers should do their work. He says guidelines should be developed for the future.
Okay, so Shayna, there was more criticism of how the RCMP communicated with the media and the public, released by the MCC today in a report. And it said that the RCMP intentionally held back key details. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that's right. The public inquiry looked at the difference between what the RCMP knew and what they said in press conferences in the days and months after the killings. For example, in the very first press conference, Chief Superintendent Chris Leather said at least 10 people were dead, but he told reporters he didn't know exactly how many. We now know that about an hour before that press conference, RCMP believed there were at least 17 victims. But because they had to settle on a number with enough time to get it translated into French, they decided to release the number 10 and plan to update it later. Andrew?
Okay, Shayna Luck, thank you very much. Now, details in that report also caused a firestorm on Parliament Hill today, leading to the opposition accusing the government of using the massacre to push a political agenda. Catherine Tunney joins us now from Ottawa. So, Catherine, can you take us through the story?
Well, this all comes from handwritten notes of Nova Scotia RCMP Superintendent Darren Campbell. He was asked by reporters about the types of weapons the gunman used, and he was pretty tight-lipped about the makes and models, citing the open investigation. According to his notes, that didn't go over well with RCMP headquarters. He wrote that at a meeting, Commissioner Brenda Lucki was upset that the RCMP in Nova Scotia was not revealing more information about the weapons. And he wrote that some in the room were reduced to tears over the, quote, belittling reprimand. And Campbell wrote Lucki had promised then Public Safety Minister Bill Blair and the Prime Minister's office that the RCMP would release more information. And Campbell said the promise was tied to pending gun control legislation, leading to dramatic moments in the House of Commons today.
The RCMP commissioner said that she had received instructions from the Prime Minister's office and Mr. Blair's public safety office, to interfere.
No such direction was given by any member of this government.
Okay, and Catherine, any response from the top?
Well, Commissioner Lucki addressed these serious allegations in a statement to CBC News tonight. She says, as a police officer and the RCMP commissioner, I would never take actions or decisions that could jeopardize an investigation. I did not interfere in the ongoing investigations into the largest mass shooting in Canadian history. She does not address the allegations that information about the weapons could have helped the Liberals' plans for more gun control. She goes on to write, though, that she regrets her behavior in that meeting and that she should have been more sensitive. Lucki is expected to testify at the Mass Casualty Commission in the coming weeks.
We'll be watching. Catherine Tunney in Ottawa. Thanks very much.